Hello and welcome back to another Warhammer 3 video heavy today. We have big news. We have the dev chat on Norsca and the Tides of Torment DLC. Super hype. We've been waiting literal years for this. We're about to get the DLC, I would assume next month or like the first week of the month after that. Very excited. Let's get into it.
Hey folks, welcome
and let
back
me know
to
down
What's
below
Next.
what
I'm
you
Freeman,
would
your head
think
of
is the next
community, and
DLC,
I'm
by the way.
excited to
I
be
think
here
it's going to be
today
High
talk to
Elves.
you about what's coming.
I am
in
biased.
Tides
They are
of
my favorite
Torment,
faction.
which releases later this summer. And I'm not doing this alone. Of course, I'm joined by members of our development team who are here today to take you behind the curtain and talk to you a little bit about what it is we've got cooking. So let's start with some introductions.
Oh,
and
he has a whole notebook, bro. Oh, you already know. They got a bunch of info.
So,
I've never seen them have like a thing of notes to read usually. It's just like
been doing that
they
for
probably
the
have
past
like
several
a
months.
screen, but that means there's
Before
just
that,
probably
I
so
was
much
game
and the
director
dude's
of
like, hey,
Total
I want to
War
write this
Feral.
down.
Previously, I worked on Total War Troy, and even before that, on the DLCs for Rome 2.
This guy has been in a
And
couple dev
over
chats
here
too.
is-
Thank you, Toshe. My name is Tuyan. I am currently the art director and concept lead for the Warhammer DLC. Previously, I was the art director for Troy Mythos.
I really
and Far.
like a lot of the
And sitting
concept
to
they
my
do,
right,
and
we
I'm
have-
sad when some of it
With
doesn't
a
make it
great
into the
passion
game.
for Total War and Warhammer, my name is Vasil, and I'm leading the Tides of Torment DLC. And I've previously spent some time dabbling in Pharaoh.
And in this What's Next episode, we're going to be very excited
Let's
to
go,
talk about
come
that
on.
next faction that we've revealed recently in the Skulls event. We'll get to that in a moment.
Super
but
hype.
elsewhere, we're
Loved
also
the
going to be
teaser.
talking about some of the reworks that we've got going on. There's
Here
one
we
actually
go.
missed
This is
in our
what
last
people have
video,
been
so stick around.
dying for.
And we'll also be talking to Stoyan as well about
This
some
is
of the
a
art
long
of
one.
our
It's
game,
25
how
minutes
work
long.
goes into bringing it to life. But
basically
Total,
watching a whole
let's give you
episode
the first
together,
question
chat.
and the first honor, of course. Who is that next faction and next faction leader we're bringing to the game?
Thank you for the honor.
Yeah, I wonder who it is.
The faction and the race both very dear to my own heart, because I'm a fan of those hardy people in the north that live right on the edge
Dude,
of
he
the chaotic
looks like a
influence,
Viking,
the
dude.
Norscans. Yes, we're
Yep.
adding a new legendary lord to the Norscans. His name is Sayl the Faithless. He's a powerful spellcaster. Unlike the other legendary lords, he's not
So
one to
cool looking.
always leads from the front.
As
and
his
tries
hand
proving,
was like that in the trailer
his
at the
physical
end.
might and his
He looks
prowess
just
and
like
his
the
bravery.
artwork, too.
He's all about manipulating those around him and making sure that they believe he's their friend, after which he betrays them. And based on his on these
Faction
treacheries,
effect. Breaking
he builds
treaties
and builds
gains you
his
stuff.
Power ever growing. This, of course, leads to him slowly getting surrounded by enemies, but you know, this is the price he had to pay.
I don't know what that
gonna
means.
search for power.
Does that mean he's just like all
across the
alone
world in
somewhere or
terms
something?
Of, be it chaos or not so much in for himself, and he's going to be a great spellcaster. He will possess 2 spell lores for the players to choose from, and that's going to be a bit of an
2
experimentation.
spell
It's going to give him
lores.
a lot of versatility as one of the most powerful spellcasters in the game.
Now, we mentioned as we were talking about Sayl
Norscan needs it.
that
They already
there's a lot
have
of
2
manipulation
melee heavy
in
hitters.
his realm, and we've had some elements of this with different gameplay factions that we've introduced in the past, such as the Changeling. How is it that it differs to that type of manipulation that we introduced there?
So Sayl is quite different from the Changeling, as he's closer to an ordinary faction. Like, he's a Norscan, he can occupy settlements, he can also raise settlements and dedicate them to the various chaos gods. But there is a special feature you will use to plan, execute, and reap the rewards from your treacheries. Like, initially, we explored a kind of a more rework of how diplomacy system works, but this is kind of a dangerous thing to do to a live game. This is
To
why we
live
opted
game.
for a specific feature to cover the betrayal part of Sayl, which is the major part of him.
So they want to make
Diplomacy
betrayal
is a
mechanic. That's what I was
very
thinking. Like, what are they going to do?
prominent
Like,
legacy feature. It's
if you
similar
betray
to
people in
treacherous
diplomacy,
watches,
you
which we
get
try to
bonuses.
navigate very cautiously, as it could bring a lot of fallback after it if something unfortunately breaks or changes too significantly. So we've worked around making Sayl's betrayal feel natural for him, so it's represented properly as a treacherous person, and his flavor
This is them probably
by the players,
explaining
but
why
doesn't
it
clash
probably
too
won't
far
affect
with
diplomacy.
the diplomatic system
Like they
that's
said,
already
it's a
within the
little
game.
hard to
Well,
do
we've
when
got
it's a
an
live
awesome
game and
roster that's
everyone
planned out for this
is
faction.
used to what
We're not
it's
going
like
to talk about
now.
all of it today.
If they just change it,
but we
you
can
don't know.
maybe give a sneak
Everyone can
peek
either
of
hate it
some
or
of
love
the
it. You never
units that
know.
we've been working on. So, Vasil, Talk us through some of these very headline units that we've got.
Thank
So
you.
where should
Let's
we
go.
start? Well,
That's what the meat and
clearly
potatoes
the
are for.
expectations fall first on Sayl. As we mentioned, he's going to be the great spellcaster, and he also is very familiar with a pal of his named the Night Maul. Night Maul is a very unique, very special-looking creature. For those unfamiliar, it consists of a few of Sayl's unfortunate sorcerer pals that got fused into one single
look at that
entity.
human meatball. Oh my
And
god.
in our interpretation of the Night Maul within
That
the
thing's
game,
terrifying.
it's going to be an ability that Sayl is going to be able to cast towards.
Oh, it's going to be an ability?
His unsuspecting and unfortunate targets. During the process of development, the Night Maul proved incredibly challenging in various technical
Look,
aspects.
chains.
So
I don't know
that
why.
was one of the more
My monkey brain just went,
driving
chains.
reasons for us to
That's so
go
cool.
towards that approach. But talking about
But I said
how
chains
the Night Maul
because the
looks,
last
I think that
DLC
Stuyan can share a
had
little
the,
bit more
the
as well.
squids on chains, and I thought that was crazy. The squids, I mean, that was crazy.
Compared to the
So I
rest
knew
of
they
the-
were going to do
the
more
roster.
stuff with
So
chains.
we
It's kind of how you
enjoyed
can
a lot
guess, because if
creating
they do
this
something, it's
thing,
like, okay, cool, we
exploring
made
all
this.
the,
Why don't we use this
Warhammer
everywhere?
lore and trying to
That is pretty cool
make
looking.
it possible for
Terrifying,
the game
though.
because, of course, especially for the animation team, the challenge is multiplied by
Imagine
the
if this
extra
was
limbs
the
and
legendary hero.
mutations the character may have. And yeah, it was.
That's what I
very
thought
fun
yesterday
to
when the
make it.
teaser was shown. I'm
guessing
like,
it's
so
not
that's
something we can
the
really
legendary
mocap,
hero?
is it?
No, not really.
We now have
tried to mocap
a
it
red
up, but it's
ape
difficult
for
to keep all the
Norsca, and now we
people
have a
together,
human
so
meatball.
it kind of feels natural, so we kind of gave it up.
Okay, so we've talked about the Night Maul. Then the roster, what else do we have
go.
on there?
Another addition to the Norscan roster is the Fimir Noble. It's an addition to the Fimir family, which we already have in Warhammer 3.
it's a lore?
And the Fimir are known to walk in the shadows, to use magic to their advantage,
that's so
and
cool.
to
It's like
surprise their
dwarf
unsuspecting
armor.
friend. The Noble will be no different. He's going to benefit from that as well. And also, as a hero character, other
a hero
Fimir
character.
Present in the game will benefit from his
Oh, wait, no,
presence
it's a lore,
in
my bad.
battle. In various situations, so they can use them in conjunction with them, but also with other monsters and creatures in the Norscan roster.
Any more we want to talk about today?
Let me
They
think
just
a
end the
little bit
video.
about it.
That's all you get,
We
guys.
can talk a little bit about the Chimera. So we're also adding a Chimera, the
Ooh.
three-headed monster that
People have
I
been
imagine
talking about
comes
this
to no surprise to most,
forever.
unfortunately. But it's a very vicious flying creature, versatile in combat, is going to be able to get in and out of battle very quickly. And its three heads will possess three
Wow, that's
different
kinda
attacks
cool.
that will also give it a little bit more zest in how it engages with other creatures and characters on the battlefield. And of course, there's going to be other secrets, but we're going to keep them for later.
And
Keep them
onto
for
the
later.
Chimera, there is a little known biological fact that it has 4 heads because its tail is also a head.
Oh, that's kind of
That
funny.
is absolutely right.
Okay, well, do make sure that you are, of course, subscribed and following us everywhere because we do have more of this roster to reveal, but later, you know. Now, it's been some time since we've had the
Oh,
opportunity
they're gonna
to
do
update
what they did with
Norsca,
Slanesh, but
when
actually
we
show
go back to
things.
looking at one of these factions that haven't been updated in a while and brought in line with those new standards that we kind of have, what's the first type of thing that we look at for this faction?
So yeah, as you said, the Norscans have been in there for quite a while. We've been hearing people saying, just please update them. They're in need of love. And we've decided to give them this kind of love right now. There are 2
Unique
types
faction
of updates
mechanics
that
for
we're
each
making
lord?
to the
Eh?
Norscans. One of those is related to their racial mechanics, but we're also doing some faction-specific ones.
Yes.
So in terms of racial mechanics, we're changing the way the Monsters Arcanum work. This is a favorite change of mine because it makes it kind of more relevant to what I'm doing in my campaign. We're also updating the way Chaos Gods Allegiance work and also the dilemmas related to Confederation.
Yay, all that
it's
stuff
expanding
needed
them.
help.
In terms of faction-specific stuff,
Good stuff, guys.
we are changing the way Seafang works for Wulfwrick. Seafang
Oh.
is his signature ship. And currently he is available in the game only as a battle ability, but we have extended his presence to the campaign map. So right now we're using Seafang. We'll provide you with an easier means of transport, crossing vast distances from port to port.
Yay,
which
we get to
will likely
teleport.
turn you into this ultimate raiding machine that we're going for, the flavor of Wulfwrick. And as for Throg, Sayl?
Throg is an interesting case where he's the Troll King a little bit more on paper, at least as that's how we saw it in the current example. And as Todor mentioned, we've tried to push in the flavor for other Norscan factions, not just Throg. So one of the factors that we looked through when we did these reworks is to make them feel distinct of each other. Wulfwrick, Throg, and Sayl. Wulfwrick being more the marauding side, Sayl, the diplomatic manipulator, and Throg, the monster king that
people
expands
have been wanting
his
this
kingdom
for
in destroying
years,
things around him.
dude.
Basically, he's going to remain on his present
All these
position, but we've
changes.
adjusted him with an additional mechanic that where he's going to be able to utilize his influence towards other monsters and trolls more.
Yes, he's going to be able to recruit monsters,
and
I bet.
call their power,
Like ones that are
one might
unique to
say,
only him.
in order to aid him in
Not him,
battle
but, you
and
know, from
aid
other
him in his
factions like
further
Chaos and whatnot.
conquests. Another interesting addition that it's also worth saying is that we're adding a few more hunts within the Monsters Arcanum. So there's going to be more monsters to hunt, there's going to be more creatures to seek, and more rewards to reap.
And another tiny but significant update is that both Throg and Wulfwrick are getting
We'll be getting an additional set of voice
Especially for
lines?
Throg, it
No
was important
way.
to convey the fact that as he is a troll that's being touched by chaos, he's also a more intelligent kind of troll.
Dude, this is
Perhaps
probably one of the best
most
updates in
intelligent troll
Norsca
in
of all time.
existence.
So a whole new VA has been recorded for
A
these then.
whole new VA? Rip to the old
We saw
guy.
that Wulfwrick and Throg were lacking VOs from the original game, as they are one of the more older factions.
You
within
know that
Warhammer.
they played them
But
to get ready
also
for this
we've
DLC,
heard
and they're
the
like, oh my
comments about
god, they
Throg's,
barely talk.
previous VOs, and we completely agree with it, actually, and decided to redo completely Throg and update Wulfwrick to be brought in line
That's
with the current
crazy.
state of what Warhammer is today.
Okay, well, awesome. I'm glad that you guys have had the opportunity to do that. I know it's something that you guys have been asking for quite a lot on the Reddits and the forums. In the last What's
You
Next
see,
video,
they
we
do
kind
read.
of forgot to talk about the Dakala and
Yeah, they
Slanesh
didn't.
reworks
They didn't.
that we're also trying to bring. So when
Man,
it
I
comes
wonder
to
why everyone wants
Slanesh,
news so bad.
One of the things that we've looked
He
to
didn't tell us
update there
anything.
Slanesh is an interesting case where they were represented just by Nkari currently, and we wanted to make the new faction in terms of the Kala and Nkari feel distinct from each other, but also supplement what Slanesh does right now. And while it does it fairly well, we've updated a few systems to bring them more into up to speed with the current trends that we've used in other reworks. So that applies towards the technology trees. We look towards the proliferation of codes to make it a little bit more functionally usable in terms of their current strategies and what they aim to achieve right now on the map. And also we've looked how to improve and tweak some of the more controversial aspects of Slaneshi benefits, for example, their replenishment, and also
You see,
their
I played them
usability in terms of
once
battle
when the game
and-
came out for like
and the
5
stats
turns
there.
and was like,
Okay,
this ain't
well,
for me.
There you have it then. Sayl and the Norsca are our next faction
Let's
that you
go,
can look forward
guys.
to when this next DLC
That's
launches
pretty big.
later
That's a big
this
update.
summer.
Oh,
Now, unless you've been
that could
living
literally
under
mean
a mangler
August.
squig, you probably saw the Skulls event very recently, and you may have spotted this first look at Sayl. Take a look at this.
why are you showing us the teaser trailer? Okay, I guess we're watching this again.
I mean, these trailers are just fantastic for us to watch.
Very much
Break it
better
down
than
for us
the
though,
last
Total.
one.
What have we actually seen
Omens
in
of
that trailer?
Destruction was kind
So
of
we
meh.
saw the first significant moment of Sayl's rise to power, and also a treachery. Because what happened in this particular case
Oh, they're
is
they're
that
lore dropping
Sayl
for
was
people
a
like
part
me who have
of
no idea
a
what's going on.
conclave of magicians, and they're conducting a special ritual, unaware that Sayl has, fiddled around with it for a bit. So it backfires the ritual because of Sayl's treachery. And what happens is that the leader of the magicians, called Shalkane, and probably I'm butchering the name, I don't know.
You see, even they butcher the name,
Only
guys.
his teeth
Warhammer
remain,
has so many
and there
wacky
become a battle
names.
ability for Sayl further
Whoa,
on.
what?
Whereas
Sacril's
the
teeth?
other three spellcasters are fused into this hideous blob of moving flesh.
Oh, wow.
Specific kind of spawn that is called the Night Maw. And yeah, this is something that
He
you will
seems
see
like such a
Sayl use
fun
in battles.
faction.
Now, these things, I mean, there's so much work that goes into creating them. When we start to concept them, Stoyan, how long does it take for us to get from that point to the
It
finish
takes us
line where
8
they're looking
months,
as cool
guys.
as we
Just
saw
tell
in
us that.
Skulls?
Because that's been the
Well,
last
it's
DLC's
a
been
quite
8
long
months.
process, and actually everything starts with the brief from the game design team. We collect all the information we need, the research for Warhammer lore, and gathering miniature references, if there is any. After we collect all the information we need, the concept team start with a rough sketch
Oh, I love seeing the
representing
concept
the
art.
main visual features of the character.
So cool.
After the sketch is approved, we continue with the actual concept, where we create more detailed and accurate version of the character, including multiple view angles, material guides, stuff like that. And after
Such a
that,
cool
the
looking
concept is
lord.
actually ready to proceed with the modeling part.
I
where
like claw
we create
hands.
the
I'm not a fan of
geometry
the
and
giant
texture and
tentacle, but it's still
materials
pretty
for
cool.
the in-game model. After that part, the character continues his journey to the skinning, rigging, animations, and VFX. So it's a quite long process. A lot of teams are involved, and yeah, it's a great team effort in general.
Now, one of the great privileges that we always have with these What's Next videos is the opportunity to talk about the craft of making a video game, because it's something that we love doing, but it's never easy.
Are they going to
And
do
I mean,
the
that's
sound
always
thing
gonna be
again?
true of art as well, isn't it, Stoyan? Like, what
they
are
were
the
eating
challenges that
yogurt?
you bump into
I remember
when you're
that Dead
trying to
Diary. That was a
create
weird one.
something as immersive and diverse as the world that we have in Warhammer?
Well, I think the main challenge always is to keep the fine balance between multiple requirements. One
It
of
is a
which
lot.
is,
There is so
to
many
keep,
factions and so
all
many
the assets
factors playing
true
against
to the
each other.
Warhammer lore and sources, in the same time to fit the already established visual style and technical requirements for the game, to be capable of performing all the actions and abilities which are required by the game design, and in the same time looks cool. So yeah, all these
It has to
things
be
are
practical,
kind of
but
difficult
be
to balance
appealing
in some
to
cases
the eye.
with some characters.
And already this DLC that we're creating now, it's taking shape, and it's stuff that we are really enjoying having a look at and playing with already. But when you guys are playing the builds that you have today, what are the things that are really making you smile and say, I can't wait for players to actually get hands-on with this?
Well, from my perspective, one of the things that really inspires me is the fact that I, as a Total War player, am one of the first to experience the entire thing of playing a campaign with Sayl and seeing how
Hey,
these features
that
have come
means not that
together
far off,
so
'cause
that
he
a
literally
particular
just
type
said
of
he did a
experience
whole
can
campaign
be
as him.
achieved,
So
and also
that
then
means there gotta be
providing
something.
input on that experience. But if we're talking specifically about art,
I say
love
end of June at the earliest.
battle animations of units. So what I do on most of my battles in the very beginning,
Maybe
before I've hit the start battle
probably
button,
mid-July,
I just
I don't
arrange
know.
my units and I do a pass over with the camera right by them to see how they roar or, you know, sharpen their weapons or whatever. This is something that I love, not only for Warhammer, but for any Total War game that I've played.
It's actually one of my favorite aspects as well, to see something brought to life from a sketch that we've all worked to bring into existence, and then with the progression of how it appears without maybe the textures or maybe without animations, and then the animations appear. And because for us in game design, we're focused over multiple aspects of the project itself, we're not always keeping in touch with the latest development, and it's occasionally brings a smile for me too when I'm doing testing of a feature or something else, to see a new animation added and it's something incredible, something great. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and that's one of my favorite processes of this job actually as a whole.
There is literally a kind of magic in there, because for some of the units, what you know in the beginning is just a brief paragraph of text, and then
Well, yeah, they're digging
months
deep
later,
for a lot of
you
these
see the
units
unit in the
now.
game, and you say, "Oh my God, it's alive!
It's
This
done
is what
and
it is."
looks awesome.
Yeah,
It's always a great feeling at the end.
And we're obviously so blessed as well because there is so much creativity in our community and from our
They
players.
do mention the mod
When we
makers
see
a lot,
art come from
so
them,
props
whether
to
it's their
them
own
for at least
creations, whether it's
recognizing that
mods,
they
whether it's
helped
just
the game.
tiny tweaks on what we've got. Like, what is it that you see in our audience that inspires you, Stoyan?
Yeah, for me as an artist, it's always inspiring and interesting to see other artist representation of Warhammer units and characters, especially ones which don't have actual models, references. So in such cases, without such specific reference, it's very important for the artist to have great
I think they
imagination
do a good
and
job with like
deep
the art
lore
style. I never
knowledge
feel
to
like
be
characters are
able
like
to,
out of place.
create this character in the best possible way. So I think that especially for the concept design, the imagination is very valuable trait, and I suggest to all aspiring artists to try to always create something new and different, not always everything else which is already there.
Now, we have 6.2 on the horizon.
They have talked about that a
There's going to be things
lot.
that we still want to do before we get to update 7.0. But Todor, what are those things?
So,
Eh?
as you mentioned, 6.2,
What's it
right
gonna be
around
in
the
it,
corner,
eh?
somewhere.
You haven't told us
in
yet.
6.2, we will be updating ancillaries in general in
Yes!
the game. Their effects,
This is what they've talked
their
about
trigger
before.
conditions. We'll likely be adding some new ones.
Yes.
We will be trying to find the balance between making those ancillaries that are perceived as, not as useful, making them more powerful, more prominent, but still retain the ones that are fan favorites.
Just don't nerf them.
their
Just make them
unique
more
status.
interesting is how I see it.
This update to the ancillaries, we have been thinking about it for quite a while, and we've decided that now is the proper time to release it.
They did
And
mention like
earlier
last
in the year, we
like,
released 6.1,
like quarter 3,
which
I
brought
think, no,
about a
quarter
significant
4. When they
update
introduced
to
them, they
Kislev
talked about it was
factions,
like part of a bigger
to,
update. They just
the
weren't ready
gameplay
with.
of Kairos with a few additional units for Cathay, and we're really happy with it because this was our way to address player feedback related back to the release of Shadows of Change, because these were the factions from the Shadows of Change.
That's how bad Shadows of
One
Change
thing
was.
that
They're
we did find
still
out is
fixing
that
stuff with it
took
to
a
make people
significant
like
effort
it.
to plan it, design it, develop it, test it, and then release it. So the next patches will be focused on some specific bits in the game.
Hype.
Of course, the
So
auxiliary
hype,
system
guys.
is something that is quite far-reaching, but it is one of the features. And these are our plans in general for the future patches to focus on specific aspects of the game itself. One thing that we are doing in addition to the patches and the hotfixes, which are still recurring, is the Proving Grounds. The Proving Grounds are this special kind of an arena where you can play a version of the game with some fixes and some changes in there, and you can give us your feedback. And this is the proper moment to thank our
Well, that's
community
nice.
for
They're
providing
thanking
us
us,
with feedback
guys.
on the campaign AI
Thank you,
changes that we have
CA,
done so
for
far.
actually
Our
listening.
main goal was to make the
Most game
campaign
companies
AI
will
more
say,
active, more
screw it,
challenging, so
we're
that
dumping this
you
cow.
kind of meet
We
some
don't need it anymore. We'll make a new
resistance,
game
in the later
with
stages
new
of your campaign.
fans.
This makes it more engaging, more interesting. And it was really amazing to go through the feedback of the people playing actual playthroughs and telling us how things happened with them, telling their story. This is one of the challenges that we're facing, because a total war game, if you have to experience its entire campaign in, actual environment,
They haven't
takes a lot of time to
talked
complete.
about the map
We don't
expansion, but I
have enough
feel like
people
that will be
here
the
to
next step
do
diary.
sufficient amount of playthroughs for the Immortal Empires, where you can have, and you already have, more than 100 playable factions. Of course, the dev people are playing it, and our QA team, God bless the QA team, are playing the game too, and we're taking their feedback.
And you
got
gotta think, these are made in
But
advance.
The Proving Grounds are a really
So
priceless
they're
source of
probably
feedback. So
really close.
please join them. Please give us your
getting
feedback.
done.
We'll take it into account. And
But yeah,
we
feedback,
plan to
feedback.
do some more
Always leave your
in
thoughts in
this
the
year,
comments
again,
and let
related
them
to
know.
various aspects
'Cause
of
they
the
do
game
read it.
where such changes which will benefit the most from a lot of people playing them.
Okay, well, that's probably just about all the time that we've got for this particular What's Next video.
I know, kind of a
course, our
long
thanks
one,
to Todor,
25
to Stoyanov,
minutes.
and to Vasil for joining me today to talk through all of these changes. But there you have it. Sayl is our next legendary lord leading the forces of Norsca. And of course, he's joining Dakala, who's marshalling the forces of Slaanesh. There's still one more legendary lord for us to reveal, which we'll be doing in the next What's Next video, which we should have for you next month.
I called
in the
it.
meantime,
So it's
do
going to
make
be
sure
the
you drop
it's going to
down
be
to
the end of
comments below.
July.
Let us know what you think. What have you enjoyed hearing about today from the team?
Because they
What's
always
got
do
you
like
super
a
excited
month
for
of
what's
like
coming next in
advertisements and then it
Warhammer
comes
3.
out, or like 3 weeks.
For now,
I mean,
we
so
will
maybe
say our
like
goodbyes,
third week
but
of
do make sure
July.
you head
That's
over to
still.
totalwar.com.
Hey, at least
You'll
we
find
have
all
an
our
idea
socials linked
now,
from
and
there.
they
Of
already said
course,
next
make sure
month
you
we're
like this
getting
video
it.
and subscribe,
The
because
Dev
we'll have
Diary.
plenty more to show you on this DLC.
And
in
they're
the
probably
near
gonna.
future.
They said
For
units.
now,
They're
we'll
probably
say
gonna
our
reveal
goodbyes.
units in
Thanks
the
very
coming
much for
weeks.
watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, folks.
Let's go, chat. I am incredibly hyped. Let's look back
A lot of
at the artwork.
Some of the reworks that
There we go.
his
Pretty cool.
physical might and his
It's very much different for the Norscan. Also, I am very excited they got new voice lines for Wulfwrick and Throg. I never thought I'd see the day. There's mods for that. So, like, I would not think that they would do it themselves, you know? They'd be like, oh, the community has it. It's fine. Super cool.
prowess.
So, he's going to be the new Legendary Lord. We kind of figured that from the teaser. I know they talk about the Lord next. So, they always show 3 things, I guess, every time. This I think is really cool.
And
I
in our
didn't
interpretation of the
expect them to be like I'm forgetting the vampire count character, but you know who I'm talking about, who can summon Krell. And I think that's pretty cool because like you can only have 20 in a stack. So when you get to have an extra unit, it's very nice. It makes it a little spice up the gameplay, you know?
Night Maul
And they
within the
showed
game,
yeah, right there. That right
he's
there looks so
unsuspecting and
cool.
unfortunate targets.
I don't think they would have shown this if they weren't gonna use it, you know? It's just like, hey, we're building this. Like we're gonna see this animation from their little YouTube in like a week or 2, I bet. So hyped, guys.
During the process of development,
Like I
the
said
Night Maul
before, I like when
proved
old factions get
incredibly
DLCs or
challenging
factions
in
don't
various
have any,
technical
because it
aspects.
gives you a reason
So
to play
that
them.
was one of the
Like
more
I did not play Corn
driving
until
reasons
recently in a
for
live
us
stream because I
to,
just
go
didn't have
towards
big
that
interest in
approach.
them. But I felt like they were a
talking
lot more
about
fun
how
than I
Night
remember
Maul
them.
looks, I think that Stuyan can share a little bit.
I think it's cool that he's not a legendary lord. That look at
limbs
this.
and
I think this is the only one beside. No, we do see. I think we do see them all in game actually. This thing is just terrifying.
mutations, the character.
Probably one of the most like scary looking
from that
things
as
in
well.
the Warhammer game. I think this is cool. I love heavy armor. I love the scale too. So
Use
they're going to be
magic
the
to
new
their
lord
advantage and
because I don't
to
think they
surprise their
had a
unsuspecting friend.
lord because
Noble
they
will
just
be
said
no
they only had
different. He's
heroes.
gonna
Like I
benefit
said,
from
I
that
don't
as
play
well.
Norsca.
And also as a hero character,
Yeah, in
other
game.
Fimir,
Pretty cool.
presence
I
in the
like the
game
Fimir.
will
I think they
benefit
were
from his
cool.
presence
Like I was
in
like,
battle,
I don't
in
play
various
Norsca at all. So like
situations.
when
They
I
can use it
do
in
like the last
conjunction
like year or
with,
2,
with them,
like
but
I was
also with other
surprised what the
monsters and
Fimir were. I'm
creatures
like,
in
why are there
Norsca.
lizard men in Norsca? This is big.
Monster
The
that I imagine
Chimera.
comes to no surprise to most.
This thing is
unfortunately.
wild looking.
But it's a very vicious flying creature, versatile in combat, is going to be able to
I assume
get
it's
in
gonna be
and out of
bigger
battle
than,
very
like,
quickly. And
half
its
the
3
flying
heads
units.
will possess 3 different attacks that will also give it a little bit more zest.
Oh, I thought
in
they were
how it
gonna
can get,
let us see the whole
will
thing.
possess
They're only showing us this. Pretty cool though. Does it breathe fire? Like I don't know. This is exciting though. Making it more fun for Norsca. But yeah, let me know down below how you guys feel about the brand new update coming up. I mean DLC, I mean. I'm incredibly hyped. Bunch of changes. We have ancillaries going to be changing very soon. We got new voice lines for Wulfwrick and Throg. We got the DLC, and I'm going to say right now, it's most likely the High Elves, I really hope. But yeah, leave a comment. Thank you so much for liking all this. And yeah, let me know down below what you think will be the next DLC. And I will see you in the future.